Yes. Another question on the in an interview with the Los Angeles Times on April 21st, you said that you told the Associated Press that the American government has created weather tampering techniques so that the New World Order will be able to starve millions of Americans and to control the rest. Would you explain what you were trying to say?
Well, what I was trying to say is exactly what I said. There is weather control techniques. We have a complete package on that, which I did not bring, but I certainly will see to it that it is brought in for the record. Number one, the entire patents on the equipment. Number two, Senator Claiborne Pell's complete statement and story of his own that not only does it exist, but that we even utilize it as far back as the Vietnam War. You might want to touch base with Senator Pell.
I just want to repeat before I turn to
So yes, but we do have all that information.
You're saying the government has created weather tampering techniques so that the, quote, New World Order will be able to starve millions of Americans.
Worldwide.
Millions of Americans, and to control the rest.
Yes, sir, and that's my belief. As bizarre as
All right, guys, welcome in. It's Saturday night. We made it to Saturday night. We got mass craziness going on and crazy anomalies out here, man. They're fabricating the winds. They've launched something out here in the Pacific, which I'm going to show you. I got tons of footage here that I've been saving so that they can hide the information. Already backed up all the files that I could find and download, because it's really hard to download off this site. But the interesting thing is what happened to a lot of these fires. They're just out. The big fires that were in Mexico, completely, all of them went out at the very exact same time. Anyway, we're going to jump into some stuff here before we get into the fires. So, you know, the mainstream's pushing this. 50,000 people ordered to evacuate Sonoma County as out of control Kincaid fire grows. What's crazy, I can't even find no smoke on the map right now. And I'll be able to show you that. But it's just crazy, man. They're either hiding the information on the satellites or something. It's just not happening yet. Which it could happen anytime. We got the wind weapons going. Another bad news for the survivors of the Paradise. Not only are they not getting their money that they're supposed to get, which we reported on the other day, now this comes out. Paradise repopulation to take a long time. They're never getting their place back. This was a complete land grab. The Paradise fire was an intentional attack on the people, and I think we proved that through all the documentation that we had. Now some people are going to love this here. Check this out. They call it a space satellite crashes in front yard of Michigan home. For one thing, it's not a space satellite. This thing was hooked to a balloon, man. People are going to love that. A Michigan couple made an unbelievable discovery in the front yard of the home Saturday morning, approximately 8:45 a.m. Saturday morning. They were about to let their horses out when they heard a loud crash. The couple's dog started to bark and they headed to the front yard. And what'd they find? Let's see if I can play this. Let's see if I can get it full screen. It won't let me go full screen. What the heck? Check this out. It's a satellite on a balloon. And it's from Samsung. It looks like some, you know, something some kids built in their backyard. Why can't I make it go full screen? Well, that sucks. Okay, well, I can't make it go full screen. Maybe it might be my ad blocker or whatever. So what they call this, not only did the satellite fall in the front yard of the home located near Gratiot and Shinganah County line. A second piece described as a large balloon fell miles away. The balloon fell into some power lines, leaving those in the area without power. But they call this the Samsung selfie satellite. It appears to be part of a campaign launched this week titled Space Selfie. Samsung Electronics unveiled the world's first space selfie, which was captured by Kara whoever during the event filed with celebrities. You know it's fake. For one thing, if it's on a balloon, it's not in space. It's up in the stratosphere, the ionosphere. It's not in space. There's apparently no air in space. Mainstream news, man, they really muck it up. I tried to look into this Samsung thing, trying to find out more information on this satellite. I personally think it's a spy satellite. So here apparently is the the first selfie. I mean, it's just stupid stuff, man. Look at these dumb people. Dumb Hollywood satanic cultists, just showing the lies. But what I did come across as I was looking at this, Samsung is developing a perfect full screen phone with hidden selfie cameras hidden under the display. Man, they're everywhere. There's cameras in your TVs, in your refrigerators. I mean, it's just nuts. Anyway, here we go. California faces biggest blackout ever as 2.5 million PG&E customers have no power for days. Look at the stocks plunge. You got the fire threat map. They're really... it's pretty crazy how this is unfolding. It's like they immediately take the blame, and then but yet they continue to do all the crazy stuff they get away with. They murder people, they modify the weather. I mean, it's just endless. This PG&E company must be much bigger and more powerful than even the stupid government in California. So this is a really interesting article coming out of Australia. Hail survives 2 weeks of heat buried on the outback Queensland property. This is some crazy stuff, man. This is some man-made hell for sure. So this hailstorm swept through central Queensland. And this is right where the aerosols were being deployed that we showed you guys the other night. A farmer was surprised to discover the ice on parts of his property still had not melted. So this cattle producer found hailstones buried under the dirt and debris on the outskirts of his farm. Around October 11th, we noticed the hail wasn't melting. So we watched the hail, and 2 weeks later, it's still there. We were just thinking, wow, I haven't got a esky, whatever that is, that good. They can put a ice. Oh, that must be a brewski. I can put it and keep it in for 2 weeks. This guy buried, now the hail that was out in the sun melted. So the key points on the story: slow melting hail is unusual but not unprecedented. My ass, yeah, it isn't unless you're doing ice nucleation. So the cattle producer says parts of his land are working better than the beer. Visible hail melted within a day of the storm that hit the property on October 11th. Since then, the region has experienced hot, sunny weather with temperatures reaching close to 40 degrees Celsius. It doesn't seem to matter if this hail is in full sun or partially shaded, it's still there. The Bureau of Meteorology said the slow melting ice was an unusual phenomenon. See, these meteorologists, instead of freaking doing some research and coming out telling what it really is, they just call it a new phenomenon. I mean, they're dumbasses. They should all be, ripped out of their mainstream TV offices. Let's put some alternative people in there. Just like the governments. They're all corrupt. They all need to be fired, all of them. So you got this climate apocalypse is coming. The U.S. Army eyeing opportunities for more intervention. I guess they're going to really start pulling off the weather warfare now, like they haven't already been doing it. But, we're going to get into some stuff here. So here's the United States Army War College. And they talk about the implications of climate change for the U.S. Army. This is another one of the agendas where they're going to call the climate crisis, and they need more money, just like the rain tax and all these taxes that they're going to do. I'll put all these links in the description so you can read through all this stuff. Then they use the fake temperature rising. They only go from 1880 to 2010. You see it's going back down. It's all lies. It's all lies to rob the American people and other people across the world out of their money. That's all they care about, is the money. So, they're talking about insect-borne diseases, how to combat that. They're kind of giving you things to try to figure out how to react to. But when you get all the way down to the bottom, of course it's going to be on the bottom. Oh, it even talked about the sea level rise. Where's that at? Where'd it go? It's a pretty big file here. Let me see if I can find it. Well, anyway, with the sea level rise, they're not going to take any action because there's no proof of sea level rise. They're just going to say they're going to monitor it. So let me get this down all the way down the bottom. When you're looking for stuff, you always have to get down to the bottom to find the real stuff here. So we're going to get all the way down here. Sorry it's taking me so long to get down here. It's a big ass file. So they come up with their conclusions and recommendations. So you get down here to the appendix. I was just seeing if that, okay, I'll go back down. So you get down here, all the way down to the appendix. Weather control. Now they talk about the military controlling the weather. They're talking about terrestrial and space weather events constitute only one set of challenges to the national security. The concept of weaponizing the natural environment is nothing new. Congressional testimony dating back to the early 1950s recommend approval of research and development funding for the weather modification experimentation. This is in response to concerns Russia beating us and learning how to control the weather and the potential threat that posed to the United States. So right here, here's another article telling you that they've been doing weather modification since the 1950s, even though they've been doing it since the 1890s. But as you get down and read all through this, here's some examples. Is the superheating of the ionosphere through directed energy generation. This capability has the potential to disrupt communications, limit capabilities of missiles, defense, or other monitoring radars, contaminate the ionosphere to such a degree as to prevent use of U.S. space or missile defense systems. They talk, some about the Hart facility. They talk about how, HARP is not the only ionospheric heater. We show everybody all the time that all the other companies, however, the United States is not the sole possessor of a HARP-like capability. Partner nations such as Japan, Norway operate their own antenna farms, as do Russia and China. The use of ionospheric sounders operated by the Air Force make it possible to monitor. So another admission to the weather modification that we talk about on a nightly basis that they flat out deny. In fact, let me post these links into the description right now so everybody can read these and share these. Make sure I got the College of War. Let me copy this PDF, copy, whoops, dang it. Hold on, I messed up here. Oh no. Here, I gotta refresh it to get the link. There we go. We want this PDF file. It needs to be distributed everywhere. So let me copy that. Copy. I'm going to paste it right underneath the taglines there at the top. So there's all your links for tonight's show. And then I'll post it in the chat. And then if somebody wants to get it there on Facebook or D Live, post that for me. That'd be awesome. Now, let's talk about a weapon that they are building and probably already have in existence that's the mother of all weapons. It pretty much makes every other weapon system irrelevant, not even relevant, because this is a wicked this is really, it's like Tesla technology, but it's called a tomahawk, and they got different tomahawks. And what this thing is, it's an experimental machine designed to harness the energy of fusion. The energy produced through the fusion of atoms is absorbed as heat, and then in the vessel, just like a conventional power plant, a fusion power plant will use this heat to produce steam, then electricity by the way of turbines, generators. Now what they do is they test long pulse operation, and it's like, this is like a nuclear reactor that turns this energy into plasma. So the extreme heat and pressure, gaseous hydrogen fuel becomes a plasma, a hot electrically charged gas. You know, when we see these plasma bursts and stuff, you know, in the sky, we catch these on these maps that we use. It's just like an ionospheric heater can create plasma. That's what the crazy innocuous clouds are, just like these solar can do the same thing, but they got all these different tomahawk things that, you know, this thing could create wormholes, black holes. It's like a CERN. But, you know, you go messing with plasma, we're talking even more powerful than any kind of nuclear detonation. So if somebody gets into the wrong hands, we're in even deeper shit than we are now. So all these links will be in the description. Let me bookmark that just in case. All right. I'm not going to play this PG&E crap. So let's get into a few maps here. Where do I want to start here? Okay, first thing I want to show you guys. Here we are over on the College of DuPage. Hey, thanks there, Lori. Thanks everybody for sharing these. Yeah, it's already in the wrong hands for sure. So what I want you guys to pay attention to, we're looking at the NextRad site, and I got some wind layers on here. I got the pressures. And what is really, 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 really odd is the high pressure once this loops through. You know, we always have the Bermuda high pressure out here, and then they have this big high pressure always parked over California, but look what happens to it. It shrinks into nothing. That's allowing the wind to come flying through here that's going to be coming in. But look, they're just shrinking the high pressure into nothing. And I'm going to show you how they did that, because we got some crazy stuff we caught. Okay, so the normal high pressure that pretty much stays stationary right there has been dwindled down into nothing, which allows other things to happen. So let's go ahead and take a quick look. Do we want to use this one first? For one thing, there's no hot spots showing up on the map. Even the fires down in the Bajas just disintegrated. So we'll get back into this map in a minute. Let me take you over here to the RAM slider. Now what you're going to see right in the middle of the screen, you're going to see an arc. Something was launched and it looped back down. It ate a hole through the clouds. Now it's not going to be loaded. Now I did save all these files. Okay, so right there it is, if you guys could see that. I'm trying to get my mouse to highlight. So there's an arc right there. And I'm going to have to go one frame at a time. Hey, thanks out there, Blue Pill. And so it's still there. It looks like a bunker fuel deployment, but it's much, much worse. And then when you see the bunker fuel here, as soon as we get through some of these frames, it's crazy, man. I had this all loaded. Let me just hit play there. Now, I think I had this on every 30 minutes. You know what? I may have to put it on every 30 minutes. I had it on every 15. I was trying to really get a smooth shot of this. Now, before this loads, look at all the bunker fuel operations out here. All these long white lines, and hopefully you guys can see that. I don't know if the screen's fuzzy on the live. But when this video processes, it should come in really clear. Now I'm trying to get this loaded back up. I could just stop this here. Let me stop this and bring you back to the other scene, because I got 2 or 3 different files already loaded. I just can't zoom in. And so you see the dark black line, that's part of it. It ate a hole through the clouds as it come up, and it's an arc. Like, I've been documenting these for years, and I've never seen anything like this. So I'm going to see if I can bring up a little bit of controls on this. So we're just going to let that run. It should start speeding up a little better here. It's so hard to download these files, man. I have to use like 3 different browsers. Yeah, this one ain't working. Let me go up to the next one I saved. Let me go up one more scene here. Yeah, I filmed it different ways. I downloaded the original files. I documented all the timestamps on here. So just watch this one run through and look right towards the middle. In fact, I could probably add a thing where I could draw on there. So just watch. There's a dark line right where my mouse is, which I don't even know if you can see my mouse. Probably not. But we'll let this loop through, and you'll see all the different, this thing exploding up, shooting up, and then dropping back down. And why we're watching this, I'm trying to get it loaded over here on the main screen where we can see it in full size. And if that don't work, I'll make a actual video of it and just upload that tomorrow. It's only like 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes long. Hey, we have to do this, man. We're in this together. Look, there it is right there, the black arc. That's showing up like a bunker fuel, but it lifted up from the ocean, ate a hole through the clouds. And at the same time, the fires went out in Mexico. Like, I'm going to show you all this stuff. So here it is trying to loop through. You can see all the other bunker fuel operations up there. There it is. There's the big hook down there at the bottom. And I got to change this damn thing again over here. All right, well, you can really see that thing, man. It's really freaky right there. Never seen nothing like it. pretty insane. Look at it, just lifts up. Whatever they deployed, it just lifts up through the clouds. It eats a hole through the cloud and just keeps lifting up, holding its formation. Now that has something to do with what they're doing for the wind. This is part of the wind weapon. And that's what it is. All this is weaponry. Thanks out there, Bamboo. Much love out there. Alright, so it's just taking forever here. Let me get back on our scene. Maybe I can click it one at a time here. I got it loaded up on different ones here. Let's see if this one shows it very good. It's crazy, man. All these maps should be loaded, ready to roll as soon as I hit the live button. So it's right down there at the bottom on this particular screen. See if my other one's working yet. I mean, it's pretty insane. So, I mean, to see if this one will go. Man, this map is frustrating, man. It's really high quality, but just trying to get it to load. There it is. There's the dark spot. It may not work that good on here. I could open the... Let me see if I can open the file in my browser of the GIF file that I downloaded here. Copy. This will show it a little better. Let me see if this will work. Now let me see if I can zoom in on this baby. Because you're definitely going to see it. I just can't slow it down. It's a GIF file. Whoa, what the heck? Alright, we're going to get this centered up where you can see it. Alright, there it is right there. Just where my mouse is, there's going to be an arc. Right there. See it? It blew off. It come from the ocean. It arced up. And it blew a hole through the clouds, and it just kept raising up. At the same time, you have total aerosols being deployed over the fire zone, and then you have all the other normal bunker fuel stuff going all on out here. But this is really, something was launched, and it did an arcing motion, ate through the cloud. I mean, that's just insane. I wish I could stop it. Yeah, I can't stop it. So there's that. Let me get out of that. Let's see if it's loaded yet. Yeah, this program is such a resource killer. It takes tons of memory. It's fine until you zoom in on it, and then it just sucks. Like you need like a quantum computer to do this. I'm trying to get it to the initial. So it's right here. Right here is where it's lifting up. And it completely blacks out all the clouds. So yeah, it's not gonna, man. I gotta have it on like 60 frames. I don't know if that'll even load. But let's take a look at something. I want to show you these fires down here in Mexico. Let me go back to yesterday. Check this out. Look at these fires that were down here south of San Diego. And then we go up to today, and right after that arc is released, these fires just go out. Just completely, almost all of them go out. I mean, they're just barely going right now. And then when I get up here to California, the map's still not loaded. But when you look at this, man, the fires have went down tremendously. And then when we go, you can see they're just dumping aerosols. We can see where the fire zone target's going to be. So if we follow the aerosols south of Santa Rosa, Fairfield, and we'll be able to see if these drifted, you know, up or down. Yeah, we need this to load the rest of the way. Look at that. They're blocking it out right where I need it. But I do have other ways around this if we can't get this to work. But the wind's going to be picking up, man. They turned on the wind machine. You can actually see the arc right here almost. That's it. Yeah, we just need this to load it. It's got to be a little bit later. And we'll probably, I can turn on the, let's put it on the microphysics. That'll show it a little better probably. But there's no hot spots showing. That was the fire. Look, here's the arc. Look at that arc right there. The lighter lines are the bunker fuel, and then the dark lines are the chemtrails. Yeah, we're going to get into the Kincaid fire. I mean, it's supposed to be going, but it's just not going right now. It's like if it's smoking, it's just, look, there it is right down there. And look at it drifting up above the clouds. So it started out at sea level, and they launched it up. Ooh, and then something dropped out of it. Like a mimic of the cloud drops out of it. Look, so here it is starting to get in the screen. Wow. It's still lifting up, still in an arcing formation up above the clouds. And watch, it's going to drop. The bottom fell out and it dropped. What the hell is that stuff? And then you got all the bunker fuel in a grid pattern straight out off the coast of California. Let's make this a little bigger so we can get a bigger scope of what's going on out here. Hey, thanks out there, Lawrence. Much love out there. Thanks for helping us keep this operation going. You know, if I knew what it was, I'd tell you. But it's something. It's something that shouldn't be there. It's not a normal bunker fuel being deployed. And whatever it is, it drops out, it raises up, it eats a hole through the cloud. And it's just kind of hanging around there. It's just kind of hanging around there in the arc shape. At the same time, the chemtrails are going right over the fire zones. There's the chemtrails. Here comes the wind and chemtrails crashing down. And that's just insane right there. So what's really weird, man, I think that has something to do with the high pressure changing. So right now, here we are on, let me make sure we're on right now. So here's the wind patterns right now. Now the winds have been blowing out to the west, but now it seems like they're blowing down to the south and then to the east. We're going to take this up 3 hours at a time. We're going into tomorrow. We can see the wind really picks up there for a minute. It's blowing almost due south. And really I need to probably back it out. I'm not on the surface winds. I'm at 1,000. We try that over, because we know the bunker fuel and the weird thing that arced out is right out here, and I'm trying to see what is it doing to the wind patterns. So all the winds kind of die down at 1900 local time, die down even more. Oh, I went past. Hold on, I would use the wrong. I went days at a time instead of hours. Okay, so here's 1900 local time, 2200. Then we go into 1 o'clock a.m. (7 a.m.) and the winds change back to the west. What did I want to look at here? Let me try to refresh that, see if that'll help us. It's probably going to take this the whole night to load. And what's crazy, look, on the brightness of the clouds, that arc is showing up. The chemtrails are even showing up. That's pretty rare to get, you know, bunker fuel, aka rocket launch. I don't know what that is. And then the chemtrails are even showing a signature, which is rare when you're looking at the cloud brightness. So this has some heat to it. There's some kind of heat to the chemtrails, some kind of heat to whatever that thing is. Hey, thanks out there, Carolyn. So just insane right there. All right, so here we are. This one's loaded okay now. It's starting to load better. See if we got all the layers yet. All right, we got all the layers now. So where's all the mass fire smoke? I mean, where's the mass fire? It's showing us the hot spots, but they're not showing up on the RAM slider. And this is in no way some huge fire right now. The fires down in Mexico were way bigger than that yesterday. Complete targeted spraying. This is a very small targeted spraying operation south of the fire zone. Looks like we got some smoke down here in Santa Maria. But look, it's not showing a hot spot. What's going on with that? Is there a fire out there? Anybody out in that area? Is there a fire out there? So let's see what the Mexico fires are doing. Look at that. Another like fracking grid. More aerosols being deployed to the south. You know, trying to make sense of this stuff is just crazy. See, the fires almost completely went out today. I mean, compared to yesterday. So here was yesterday. Down here in Mexico. Look at that. That's a fire. Let's go ahead and go look up at yesterday's footage. You know, about the same. Right there, it was pushing pretty good. Look at the Mexico one. See, the Mexico fires are like worse. So why is PG&E is responsible for a lot of these fires, or all of them basically. But you got to wonder, is it because they're trying to get the satellite microwaves online and it's frying out the transformers? So it was looking really bad yesterday. Let's go to today, way down. So what's going to happen tonight, I have no idea. All I know is they deployed something new out here off the coast. The bunker fuel is still being deployed, and the chemtrails. So we'll just have to see what happens with the winds. And we could go look at the let's put the winds on here. Hold on here. We got the wind gust. Take that off. Put the wind vectors on here. Take them off just so we can see a little better. I should probably just go over on the west. Well, here, let's just play it, document it. So here's all our winds. It'll blink on the wind gusts, 18 miles an hour. I'm seeing there in Northern California, 21 miles an hour, 19. The radar is going to start doing some funky stuff overnight. So I will try to set my alarm and get up really late at night and check these things. So we're showing a 19 mile an hour wind gust. It looks like some 23. Yeah, I need to go over to the west so we can document this a little better. Hey, thanks out there, Susan. So let's let this get loaded here. It's going to tell us the actual winds. I mean, these are all the sensors. So you got some 23 mile an hour winds off the coast of Oregon. You got some military chaff being deployed right in the area where the winds are higher. So all the winds are pretty much going down and then starting to turn west. Radars are working. 16 mile an hour wind gusts just popped up out of nowhere in Southern California. 24, 19, 17, 20. There's a 40 mile an hour wind gust popped up out of nowhere in Southern California. There's that military chaff being deployed. Let's see here. Let me try the wind gusts. We'll see what that looks like. This will give us the gusts. We were looking at the sustained winds. (18, 21, 32 mile an hour gusts right there on the coast. So it does look like the winds are starting to pick up. 21, 22. Well, if you didn't know, you should go back and listen to last night's show. PG&E is not just a power and gas company. They also do weather modification. They also have a satellite microwave weapon. They produce 2 megawatts of microwaves up in the sky and beam it down. Here, I can show you guys. Here, give me a second here. Let me, I had them in the, they might be in the, you can look down, they should be in the links. Let me see if they're down in the show links here. Yeah, people don't know that, that PG&E does weather modification. And they also are part of Solarian. Here, I'll just Google it because I don't have it here. Man. I know I'm not spelling it right. That's probably why I can't find it. Man, yeah, I can't find my links here. Where are my links? Give me a second here. I'll look. I'll find it. Sometimes I'm not very good at keeping things organized here. I got to reopen where I save all these links. I probably put them in the wrong folder. Here, I can find them. Just take me a second. I'll just go to my history. Yeah, I don't remember what the name of the articles are, but we had them on last night's show to show that PG&E is taking land, by eminent domain. They're stealing people's land. Last night we showed that Solarian puts out just as much gigawatts as the Arecibo ionospheric heater. Wow, this is just taking me too long. Hell, just go back and watch last night's show and you'll find out all about PG&E. As we showed all the stuff they do. Let's see here. Alright, yeah, it's just going to take me too long. I can't find them right now. So let's go ahead and put this back on the natural fire and see if we can see any hot spots. Yeah, I mean, for some reason they're trying to use PG&E, since they're blaming themselves, even though we know they're doing a lot of it and their stuff is blowing up. But I think they're doing it to pull the agenda to where the government can come in and start running this, the New World Order. Oh, you know what? I got a clip of the bunker fuel that I could play while I'm trying to find this. So I will play that for you guys while I'm trying to find this.
A toxic life on the ocean waves. How just a few ships can create more emissions than all the world's cars. And plastics, not so fantastic. New efforts to tackle one of the planet's biggest polluters. I'm Dana Lewis. This is Insight. Welcome to Insight. They are the giants of the ocean, carrying tens of thousands of tons of cargo or thousands of fare-paying passengers from one side of the world to the other. But the container vessels, tankers, and cruise ships that sail our seas are also giant polluters, and scientists say it's not just marine life that's being put at risk.
There's big, there's enormous, and then there's the harmony of the seas. When the largest cruise ship in the world chugged into the Southampton port in England, it was an orchestrated, tugboat-driven, waterborne ballet through the mists of fireboat fountains. There's a reason the ship is divided into 7 neighborhoods, including Central Park and the Boardwalk, because it literally is a floating town. almost 3,000 staterooms, 6,780 guests. Supersized, gargantuan. These ships just keep getting larger. But what emerges from those smokestacks on ships around the world has raised some serious concerns. On the docks of Southampton, we met with Colin McQueen, a clean air campaigner in the shadow of the big ships that pull into this port. He complains his partner has asthma and that the air quality is a serious health concern because of ships burning low-grade, dirty diesel fuel.
Some of these cruise ships, like the Navigator of the Seas behind us, that's probably got the power demand of a 50,000 population town. So it's got air conditioning, electrics, you name it, people there. That is power hungry. So that is pumping out a lot of toxins, a lot of pollution as it sits in harbour. Once it goes beyond the international limit, then they switch to a cruder form of oil, which they call bunker fuel.
So they're not only supersized, but so is the pollution they cause. A ship like the Harmony has two 4-story, 16-cylinder engines burning up to 4,900 liters of fuel per hour, 249,000 liters of fuel per day. One cruise ship can emit more sulfur than several million cars. There's more nitrous oxide emissions than all the car traffic passing through a medium-sized town, more particulate emissions than thousands of London buses from just one of these.
It's a problem because we have hospitals that are bursting at the seams with people with asthma, COPD, all kinds of lung-related diseases. It's a problem because we've got young children breathing in what is effectively contaminated air into the schoolrooms themselves. Many schools are not very far away from the docks, so there are days in which those children should really not be allowed out into the playground.
And when they're not at sea, in ports around the world, ships run engines for power. And environmental groups say it's a serious hazard.
It is really important to address the shipping emissions, both from when they're out at sea, which contributes to the overall background, but probably most importantly when they're in port, because they're actually where people are living and breathing the air, and as air can move around, clearly, you know, the exhaust emissions of the ship, if it's running its engines in port, will affect local people's health.
Container ships are also belching polluters. The Mole Triumph carries 20,000 containers. It's 396 meters long, almost half a kilometer. One massive container ship can in 1 year emit cancer and asthma-causing pollutants equivalent to 50 million cars. Worldwide, there are 90,000 vessels. A lot of the container shipping business is suffering, so upgrading fleets to be more environmentally sound isn't happening. But the rich cruise lines say they are changing.
All right, got the mic back. All right, so if you didn't know, yeah, bunker fuel is climate change. It's all of it. You got the aerosols being deployed from the airplanes, and then you have the bunker fuel. But check this out. Precipitation enhancement coming out July 29, 2016 from the California Department of Water Resources. And this is the California Water Plan Strategy. When you get down in here, you can see the companies that are doing this. California Energy Commission, California Department of Water Resources, Regional Water Management, National Center for Atmospheric Research, Oceanic Atmospheric Administration, the Notice of Intent, National Research Council, Pacific Gas and Electric Company, and on and on. And what they're talking about? Enhancing the rain. Their precipitation enhancement, commonly called cloud seeding, artificially stimulates the clouds to produce more rainfall. You can read through this document. This is the where they've done all the weather modification. It's all mapped out here. This is a PDF. This will be in the description. I'll paste it right now into the chat. Another piece of information to share out, because this just goes to show you that weather modification exists. They're doing it every day all across the planet, and while everybody's taking selfies and playing Pokemon Go or whatever, this is going on right above their heads, and it's affecting the plants, it's affecting the wildlife, it's affecting the aquatic life, it's affecting the natural cycles of the earth. And then to add on to it, Solarian. This thing here is a microwave weapon based up into space. Pacific Gas and Electric Company to deliver 200 megawatts of power for at least 15 years starting in 2016. This is Skynet, ladies and gentlemen. They're beaming down the radio waves, they're sent down, and then they're turned into megawatts of power into microwaves. It's a space-based microwave weapon. I think that's part of the reason that these fires are starting, is they're beaming these microwaves down, and it's causing the magma and the plates and the gases underneath the ground to erupt, and then it's over modulating their system. So even when the power's off, they have microwaves beaming down, causing these fires. I mean, it's undeniable. They have the fires off, but yet they have utility poles and power poles catching on fire. How's that happening? Why are they sparking if they are de-energized? It's because they may be de-energized, but they're sending down megawatts of power from space. And just to show you how many ionospheric heaters are out there and how many of them are putting off 200 megawatts of power. I'm talking ionospheric heaters. I'll just show you. Arecibo puts off 200 megawatts of power. We showed this last night, but this is stuff that needs to be shown, because people really don't know about this. I mean, unless they watch this program, they know about it. A couple other people. So we'll just load on just the ionospheric heaters across the planet here. Hopefully I clicked that. Yeah, so let's just take a quick look at Arecibo. You see this on James Bond. They're actually building a new ionospheric heater in the center of this thing. And look at it. It puts out 200 million megawatt or watts, which is 200 megawatts. You've seen this in the James Bond movies. This thing is big as a town. I mean, this thing is huge. So you got, this is the Arecibo Observatory Enhanced HF Ionospheric Heating Instrument. You got one right over here in Peru. This one's tucked away in the mountains. It's a 4.5 megawatt facility hidden in the mountains. Huge ionospheric heater and a super darn. Monstrous, hidden away in the mountains. Look at that. There's like no towns around. It's like an Area 51 for ionospheric heating. That's why we're seeing plasma. Of course, you have the Hart, which is way more powerful. But you also have one in Japan, India, Russia. They just built the world's largest one in China. Now, it's not even marked on this map yet, but I've looked it up. I did a video on it. It's a monster. So yeah, look at all these, man. They're everywhere. They're everywhere. These are just the ionospheric heaters. As a farmer, you can buy a cloud ionizing antenna to help the precipitation on your farm. You can hire, like, you know, you can go to the Texas License Bureau. Here, let's go to the Texas License Bureau, the TDLR. If you go up to the license types, click the license type, scroll all the way down, you know, like here, let me unzoom this. It's zoomed up pretty big. You go to the license types, look all the way down at the bottom. Weather modification. Now I have videos up of the 2019 weather modification council meeting that they did, and you can hear how they talked about how they were cloud seeding clouds that were already thunderstorm warned. They talk about how they're making it rain 30 to 40% more precipitation. That's why the Midwest was getting flooded this year. You got the North American, or hell, we go to Idaho. You got the Idaho Power Company that also does weather modification. I mean, they're all over the place, man. People can't deny this. Here's the Idaho Power Company, Idaho Power Harvesting the Storm. So the Idaho Power Company, they inject silver iodide from the ground-based towers and flares and modify aircraft to coax winter storm to produce more snow. This come out July 19th, 2019. This is a mobile facility. Yeah, we don't want to watch the ad. Idaho Power can make it snow, increasing water reservoirs. You know, we're not even getting into the electromagnetic weapons. You got the North American. Oh, that's the wrong link. I don't even know what this link is. Oh, this is like the Inner Bering Railroad. You want to know why they're doing the fires? Let me show you that. I'll show you what the big picture is. It's the New World Order, the One World Order train, the Inner Bering LLC. See, these are the plans for the railroads. And if you notice, all the fires going up through Russia, through Alaska, through China, Russia, wherever there's a fire, that's where these railroads are going in. They're going to connect the Inner Bering Sea. Here's a map of the railroad. You look, it goes down through all the fire zones, where all the fire zones are. And even in Russia, same thing. This thing is going to be 5 miles into land on both sides, then it goes deep underground, underneath the Bering Strait. And you can look at what this thing, here's what it looks like. So see, USA, Canada, Russia, China, and Europe are all in on this. The people who are not in there is us. This is like the FEMA train. This is how they're going to ship. You know, they're going to come up with no-go zones for humans. And if they don't want you in the area, they're putting you on the FEMA train and shipping you off to other countries. It's all going down. Anyway, guys, pray for the people on the West Coast from any fire, any kind of seismic activity, any kind of volcanism that could go off by these weapons that they're using. So anyway, guys, we're going to call this a show. If we see anything pop off, we'll jump on early in the morning and do a little show on this. Anyway, I want to thank everybody that shares this information out. YouTube likes to keep this stuff hid. and all that stuff. Anyway, guys, much love. We're going to play a song called Rise. Everybody better rise soon. Otherwise, it's going to be too late. So everybody needs to get people in their own communities awake to this and start getting a plan now. Anyway, guys, let's rise. Much love.